In this quick video, we're going to talk about Cursor 2. I've been looking forward to this release. I've been playing with it for the last few hours. I'm going to share with you my first impressions. And hopefully it will save you some time helping you understand, will this replace Claude Code, Codex, Windsurf, or is it just hype and features we don't need? So let's get into it. And I'm just going to go over the features that stick out to me. The new UI, voice dictation, plan mode, it's built in browser, its new Composer 1 model, Git work trees, multi-agents, running multiple agents. I'm referring to two different features here, and who will win the World Series of AI coding. So really briefly, let's just look at Cursor's changelog. They talk a lot about multi-agents. We'll get into that. You can run up to 8 agents in parallel on a single prompt using Git work trees or remote machines. Each agent essentially works in its own sandbox. I hope you have a lot of money. It's a great way to improve your credit score. Then they talk about Composer. This is their new model. They claim that it's 4 times faster than similarly intelligent models. To me, that's not saying much. What are similarly intelligent models? They now added a browser built into Cursor, meaning instead of launching your web app in Chrome and then using something like Terminal or Playwright or Chrome DevTools, you're able to actually access the browser within Cursor. This is actually probably its most powerful feature in my opinion. Voice mode is great. If you watch my channel, you know I dictate everything to my computer with Aqua Voice. It was only a matter of time till the IDEs added their own dictation into it. So this has been a long time coming. Then they talk about improved performance. Essentially, they worked on their LSP, language server protocols. This is what made Serena so powerful. LSPs are now faster by default for larger projects with higher memory limits, dynamically configured based on available RAM. So far, I haven't noticed any difference. Another long-awaited and hyped feature is plan mode in the background. Plan mode is one of my favorite features of Claude Code, where at its best, Claude Code would plan with Opus and then execute with Sonnet. Now Claude Code plans with Sonnet and executes with Haiku, but now Claude Code also asks you clarifying questions in its plan mode. I think that's a great feature. And Claude Code just got a built-in plan subagent. By the way, on the subject of subagents, they do not exist in Cursor 2.0. I was hoping that they would. You're able to run multiple agents in parallel, but it's not the same implementation of subagents that you have with like Claude Code. Maybe I'm missing something, haven't seen it yet. Let's just get into Cursor. So to see the new UI, just click agents, and you get this very basic UI. Just to remind you what Cursor usually looks like, you have the file browser on the left, you can have your Cursor agent on the right, and you can have your terminal on the bottom. Cursor started as a VS Code fork, and the main use case I have for Cursor these days is essentially that I like to use Claude Code or Codex in the terminal, but I like to see my files on the left and my actual code in the middle. I like to see what it's doing because I still think that as great as even the best coding models are, they make mistakes, and it's really important to actually see what's going on. But this new UI in Cursor takes it away. They want it to be fully agentic. It's a vibe coder's dream, I guess. I personally don't like it. On the left side, you have all your agent calls. In the center, you can prompt. Now, the good news is the shortcut is just Command E to switch between the two. Now, you can rearrange this new UI. You can see your actual file here. You can still pull up the terminal. You can see your file system on the right side, but the bottom line is they want to make your agentic coding the center of your experience. Maybe this will just take some getting used to. I prefer the traditional IDE experience that we have from VS Code, but it's just a matter of opinion. Now I'm trying to keep this video short, but I'm going to tell you in my testing, the things that I'm building right now are iOS apps, which agentic coding tools are not that great at. Codex has gotten pretty good at it, and so has Claude Code. And in a different project, I put Composer 1 to the test. Actually, I didn't only put Composer 1 to the test. One of the features here is to be able to run multiple agents and run multi-agents. So check this out. You're able to toggle, use multiple models. I had one instance of Composer 1, one instance of Sonnet 4.5, and one instance of GPT-5 Codex. And I gave it a single prompt to build out a feature that I'm working on in my app. Composer 1 finished right away. Sonnet 4.5 finished second and got it right. GPT-5 Codex took a bit longer, got it right. Composer 1 was not even close. That being said, it was fast. I don't know if they're comparing it to Haiku or GPT 4.1, but yeah. Now, in addition to running these 3 models simultaneously, you can also run multiple instances of these models. So, for instance, I could run 2 instances of Composer 1, 1 instance of Sonnet 4.5, and 3 instances of GPT-5 Codex. So that's essentially 6 models running simultaneously on a single prompt. Now, this, in theory, is a very cool feature. In practice, I see 2 major flaws with it. And this is just my opinion. One, that's going to be expensive as hell. One of the biggest gripes that people have with Cursor is their ever-changing pricing model, how they push everyone to auto mode. You didn't know which model you were getting, and even on the $20 plan, you eventually max out and have to pay on a usage basis. Well, if you're going to run multiple models, especially thinking models, and you turn on max mode, you're going to hit your usage limits really fast. You're not going to get cut off, but your usage billing will go through the roof. So if money's not an issue for you, this could be a really cool feature. But if you're trying to save money, and you're probably also paying for Claude Code, and you're also paying for Codex, this makes Cursor way more expensive. Now let's say money's not an issue. let's talk about the actual practicality of running even 3 models simultaneously on a single prompt. Well, the good news is, even running the same model multiple times, you could get to your solution in many ways. But when you're debugging, and if you're actually looking at the code and trying to understand what's going on, so I guess what I'm saying, if time and money weren't constructs that we're bound by, these would be amazing features and I would use the hell out of them. But I don't think these features are for me. And I could be wrong. Maybe I'm looking at it the wrong way. You guys let me know what you think. But for writing efficient, scalable, productive code, I don't think this is the right way. From a research perspective, it is pretty awesome though. Okay, so let's just turn off multiple models, and then we're going to talk about the last 2 features, and these are the best features in my opinion of Cursor 2. The first one is plan mode. So you could click here, you see we have agent, plan, and ask. You could click here to go to plan mode, but just like in Cursor, you could do Shift Tab, and you could also just get to plan mode. So just to give you context of where we're at, I built a simple website to try and do prompt injections to agentic browsers, to Comet, to Atlas. It was a fun little project. I learned a lot. It's harder than you would think, but it's still a little bit too easy. Anyways, I removed the prompt injections. So here's a new Cursor browser, and here's the website I built to do the prompt injections. AI Wealth Academy, definitely not a scam. 2025 comprehensive course. Your complete guide to AI monetization. No experience necessary or desired. And you can see how successful I am because I got a Rolex and I got hair and I'm on a boat. Anyways, I hid prompt injections all around this website. They're gone now, and it's fine. So this is now running on localhost. Now let's just try out the dictation feature and the plan feature, and we'll see how it all works together. Convert this website to dark mode. Now we are in Composer 1, and it's going to do a plan first. So I just want you to see how fast the plan comes out. Now, if there's something you don't like, you could obviously steer the plan or add more details. And if you click down here, you can either build it locally or in the background with a background agent. We're just going to build it right now here, and you'll see it implementing the whole thing right here in the chat. Okay, so it finished. So let's just go back to the browser here within Cursor, and let's press refresh. And there we have it, the same app in dark mode. So that was the dictation mode, that was the plan mode. And now let me just show you the power of this built-in browser. Besides us not having to leave Cursor, we're able to just select elements in our web app, in our website, and then it just adds it to context. And this is huge. If you hover over it, you see pretty much everything about it. And I don't know if I already said this, but I think this is the most powerful feature of Cursor 2, just having it all in this one environment. If you click here, you can bring up the Chrome DevTools. So just like if you're running in Chrome, you're able to see everything. Cursor is able to read it all directly within the IDE. And what we were doing before was essentially connecting Playwright or the Chrome DevTools MCP, and it would talk back and forth with the agent, and it would take up a lot of context. And here it all happens in one place, and I think that is huge. I haven't yet been able to get Claude Code to use the built-in Cursor browser, but I'm sure it's possible. It's just a matter of time till I figure that out. Oh, and by the way, down here is where you can switch between the regular Google Chrome browser or the built-in browser tab. So wrapping things up, Cursor 2 is cool. It has a bunch of features. I don't see them all as very practical, but I could be wrong. I think the biggest letdown for me is I expected to have subagents built into Cursor 2. And again, you could run multiple agents simultaneously and even run multiple models simultaneously. But that's a bit different than having an orchestrator agent and a bunch of subagents going off, doing things in their own context window, and then coming back to the main agent. Do I think this is going to replace Claude Code or Codex? No, straight up no. This is a nice UI experience, but for me, they're leaving the traditional IDE experience that I am using Cursor for, which I could probably just use regular old VS Code for. Over the last few months, the only times I'm using Cursor Agent is when I'm out of usage with Claude Code, which happens a lot, unfortunately. Codex is going too slow, or I just want to do something quick with an agent, and I know I have those extra credits that I pay $20 a month for. But Claude Code is still my favorite agentic coding tool. Claude Sonnet 4.5 is still an amazing model. And also GPT-5 Codex is a great model. And Codex CLI is great. So that's where I do most of my coding, within an IDE, but straight from the source. And while Cursor is great, I don't see it replacing Claude Code. Despite my love-hate relationship with it, it's still my favorite. And Codex is really cool too. So to answer the question, is it better? In my opinion, no. Will I keep playing with it? Yes. But I was really looking forward to Cursor 2, and it didn't live up to the hype for me, at least not yet. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm missing something. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. It really helps me grow. Thank you guys for watching, and go Dodgers.